Process variation is running rampant in your factory, and you've been called on to solve this mystery. You are passionate about finding these variation culprits because you know that a controlled process yields fewer defects. So how do you find the variation culprits of your process? Well, you can find some good clues by studying your process data and investigating the 6 M's of manufacturing. Now let's take a look at these suspects one by one. Our first suspect is measurement. You want to know how much of the total variation comes from your measurement system. When specification tolerances are tight, such as in a precision machine shop, even well-trained inspectors who use precision gauges can be responsible for a high degree of measurement error. Solve this mystery by doing a gauge R&R study. A gauge R&R study is going to be like doing a DNA test in a crime lab. It's going to help you determine if your measurement system is a variation culprit or not. Suspect number 2, manpower. Operators are often guilty of crimes against the process. Untrained and ineffective operators can create all kinds of shifts and drifts in a process. Solve this mystery by looking at the process data over the course of a period of time. Often you can identify operator-induced process shifts by looking at the data trends. A time series graph is like a fingerprint analysis. Suspect number 3, material. Raw material lot changes can dramatically affect process variation. In food processing, for example, raw ingredients often come directly or indirectly from farms. The source locations and growing conditions can have a large impact on process variation. We need to look no further than a potato chip processing plant for this example. Every time a new crop of potatoes hits the fryer, the process quickly changes. Here again, a time series chart can provide you with some variation clues. Just inspect the data trends for a shifting process during raw material lot changes. Stable processes require consistent raw materials. Suspect number 4, machines. Your production machines are always viable suspects. If equipment is poorly designed or poorly maintained, it should raise your suspicions. To investigate a suspect machine, complete a process capability study. Whenever a process capability study yields a CP of less than 1.33, then you should consider machine design upgrades and implementing total productive maintenance. These activities will put your machine-caused variation on house arrest. Suspect number 5 is Mother Nature herself. We all know that Mother Nature can occasionally be a major disruptive force, but when it comes to a manufacturing process, her effect, it can be very subtle. Often, temperature and humidity changes can impact the process and cause variation. If she's a suspect in your investigation, collect production room temperature and humidity data and compare it to your process data using a correlation analysis. If you find there's a statistical correlation, then you're going to want to install environmental controls in your production room. Our final suspect is methods. Methods always conspire with other suspects in this crime of variation. However, they can be turned to aid the investigator too. Methods are the common thread connecting all of the variation suspects together. A lack of good training programs, test methods, material specs, maintenance procedures, work instructions, and quality systems can be the cause of variation. But the reverse is also true. Poor methods are guilty conspirators, but good methods can help imprison variation. Now it's time for the police lineup. After your initial investigation, you're going to have a short list of probable suspects. You may even have a variation conspiracy on your hands, but you need more conclusive evidence before an arrest can be made. The final damning evidence can be found by using a multivariate analysis. Here, you include your top suspects in a controlled process experiment. This type of DOE will clearly show who's guilty of process variation and whether or not they acted alone. It will point you directly to the variation culprits. My name is Joe Joyce and I'm with Tools for the Trenches. If you work in manufacturing, then visit us, follow us, and subscribe to thrive.